And now we get into a game that has one of the biggest college football playoff implications. In September, I don't like talking about college football playoff too much because there's so much unknown information that's out there. But this is an exception. This is going to have a huge impact on the college football playoff. Ohio State, ranked number 6 in the country, 3-0, going on the road, going to South Bend, Indiana. That's also where College Game Day is going, by the way. They're taking on Notre Dame, a 4-0 Notre Dame squad, ranked number 9 in the country as well. For Ohio State, it's taken them a couple of weeks to figure it out, but I think they're starting to find their identity on offense. I think Kyle McCord is starting to figure things out. Notre Dame, on the other hand, I think they have been rolling since the get-go. Great win versus Navy to get things started. And then they proceed, possible trap game against NC State. They handled their business against NC State, looked good in that game too, and then do what you're supposed to do against a MAC team. They blew out the MAC team. So this is going to be Notre Dame's biggest game, arguably one of its biggest games of the season. And the next 4 games for Notre Dame is also going to really tell us how good this Notre Dame team is. Forget about the Ohio State game for a split second. Look at the schedule for the next, going into October. So after the Ohio State game, they go on the road against Duke, and Duke's for real. It doesn't feel real, but Duke is a good team, ranked number 18 in the country. Louisville has an outside shot of going to the ACC championship. They go on the road to face them, and then they take on USC, who's ranked number 5 in the country. That's what their next 4 games entail. So, man, if Notre Dame can go 3-1 in that stretch somehow, that is going to really bolster the college football playoff resume for Notre Dame. As for Ohio State, this is going to be a big test for Ohio State as well. The only test that we'll see them have in the month of September, Indiana, Youngstown State, Western Kentucky, games that Ohio State has played, expected to win, but offense has taken a little bit too quick. So we talked about what's at stake. We know that this game has college football playoff implications. So what's the biggest key in this game? I think that's what I'm really curious about. What's the biggest key? And it goes back to Kyle McCord taking on the defense of Notre Dame. This is going to be the best defense that Kyle McCord has faced. Now, ever since he's been handed the starting quarterback job full time, in wake of their little 2-game experience with Devin Brown, Kyle McCord has looked more comfortable, and it showed in that game against Western Kentucky. But this is only going to be his second career road start as well. I think, and this one is with a big-time matchup as well. So going back to 2021 or 2022, he only played really in the Akron game. I want to say that game was at Akron. Not completely sure, but I think it was. So does it really count as a road start? I don't know, boss. I really don't know. This is going to be the toughest challenge that Kyle McCord has faced. Now, he's improved in those last couple of games, completing 77% of his passes, 576 yards, 6 touchdowns. And he's got great weapons around him, too. He has Marvin Harrison Jr. He has Mbuke. He has one of the best receiving corps in the country. Plus, you have the 2-headed monster headed up by Trayvon Henderson. This is a legit offense with one of the best skill groups in the country. So, does Notre Dame get pressure? One, does he make Kyle McCord uncomfortable? Because if Kyle McCord is uncomfortable, who knows how he handles that pressure? And vice versa, how does the Ohio State defensive front handle Notre Dame's offensive line? Because I do think that Notre Dame does have one of the best offensive lines in the country. JDT, AP preseason second team All-American for Ohio State, is going to be tested in this game. He's going to need to come up big because Notre Dame might have the edge in the trenches here. especially with Ohio State. They're a little inexperienced. They have to go into transfer portal to find a plug and play person, a former 4-star from San Diego State. He's been fine, but he hasn't been tested like this yet. He has certainly not been tested in this game yet. Not to mention, Notre Dame got themselves a quarterback now. Last year, they were playing Tyler Buchner. And I said it before, I said it again, not a big Tyler Buchner guy. Just don't really believe in Tyler Buchner. I don't think he could ever be like a high-end FBS level quarterback. Sam Hartman's a different story. Sam Hartman's been balling out in his 4 games. 1,000 yards, 15 total touchdowns so far this year. This game is going to be in South Bend as well. It's going to be an electric environment at Notre Dame Stadium as well. Right now, the game line, Ohio State is a slight favorite, a 3.5-point favorite. But the Any Given Saturday model has it at -1, a -1-point favorite as of right now. So, do I agree with Vegas or do I agree with the model? At the end of the day, it's going to hurt me saying this. As someone that does actually support Ohio State, it's not my favorite team, but I like Ohio State. I follow Ohio State football personally. I think Notre Dame wins this game. I think this game does end up being close. I think Sam Hartman is the more poised quarterback than what Kyle McCord is. And I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think this is going to be a fun game that's going to be able to go ahead and live up to that hype. We'll see what happens in this matchup. I'm going with Notre Dame, but it's going to be extraordinarily close.